7 lessons that I've learned over the years that can help anybody be a better networker in your business, in your entrepreneurial goals, as an artist, as a musician, as an artist manager,
right?
Even getting job interviews. Skills help in every
They can
industry.
apply everywhere. Okay.
Definitely. I used some of these principles to sneak in and meet with Gary Vee for the first time.
Oh, shit.
Number 1 is actually the only point that you need to know. The only point. The rest of it is just fucking bonus.
Okay.
The number 1 point is add value. Welcome to the Unfiltered Podcast. I'm your host, Raf, and this is my co-host, Saheer.
What up, man?
How you doing, bro?
Chilling, man. Chilling. How you doing?
I'm doing really good.
Sure.
Man, I'm excited about today's episode.
Yes, sir.
I think this is one of the most important topics for anybody, like in business, entrepreneurship, music industry, just even finding jobs, like for yourself.
Absolutely.
And the topic in question here is how to network.
Right.
You know, I've been a networker since day one, meaning like whenever I started, on my businesses or anything in the music industry, I've just been trying to increase my network. Mm-hmm. Because a long time ago, I read somewhere that your network is your net worth.
Yeah, I remember talking about that last week with you. Like, like really just getting out there, but making, some actual connections, genuine connections.
Right.
And networking, I think, is a fine art in that way, for sure. Is that like you have to know how to do this, and like speak a language, which is really important.
Yeah, exactly. And your relationships are so important. Like in any business, it's really who you know.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, like that's been one of those lessons, like coming on early adulthood, like maybe like, I don't know, 21-ish. You realize that it's really friends helping friends.
Right.
And that's what got people to where they are, and they stayed patient, diligent, they did their own thing. You can't discount the hustle, about this, but yeah, it's about friends helping friends. So like that really, like, I think resonates.
Yeah.
That like, yeah, but you have to know people,
right,
in a genuine way. There's like a real way to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And you just never know who you get to know, and then like what happens with that person years later, and then you can really work with them with something that excites you. You just never know who you get to meet.
Exactly.
And today I just wanted to break down some of the ways that people can network and improve their skills in networking, just because it served me so well. And man, basically I come from a background where I was anxious, to network, to get to know people. I was at a space where I didn't feel comfortable in social situations. But here I am today, like in a different space,
Wow. When did that transformation happen?
Bro, it happened over the years, after realizing that I needed to be, I needed to overcome social anxieties,
Yeah.
I'm a first-gen immigrant.
So what is that social anxiety? Break that down real quick.
For sure.
Could. Like, what is that?
For example, like for me, I'm a first-gen immigrant from Bangladesh. I grew up in Saudi Arabia, right?
Right.
But when I came to the United States for the first time, not as a tourist, but to live here as a college student, I was surrounded by so many different types of people in my college town,
Sure.
And I felt like, prior to this, I was working with artists and musicians back home, and I was very comfortable with my friends and all of that. But here I was around like new people, new culture, like culture shock for me.
And it's like a mixture.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a mixture of people from different cultures.
It's not too homogenous, which I think it was, right? Like
You're
you were in Saudi, like it was somewhat like you were around your community.
Right.
And
That's
your
right.
people.
Yes, that's right. Over here, I come here and it's like a college town that has people from all over the world. It's a little intimidating sometimes.
Holy crap! Yeah, that's a different perspective entirely. Right. From someone who's grown up like in a melting pot, like in like the 90s. Like I was in Fremont, so like my elementary school. Shout out Forest Park. That at that time was like. It was a cultural like buffet, so to speak. Like when we would have those world fairs, where people would bring your lunch in and things like that, like from your culture. Yeah, man, you would see so many different types of people, and so at that time, like from a young age, if you keep seeing different kids, like you just start to think of kids or people as people eventually.
Yes.
And like the whole racial bias kind of takes a backseat, you know, in terms of it might just be funny jokes, you know what I mean, to me at the most.
Yeah.
But like it'll never be something that like, I don't know, when I gauge somebody, let's say when we go tie it back to the social anxiety part, you know, like these are different people, new, like I think you just gauge them, everybody case by case, you know, and like that might make your anxiety go up a little bit more, but then it might also like, you know, just like relax you a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. You know, I feel the same way, like, and you're right, like growing up, you know, I grew up as a Bangladeshi person in like the Middle East. I was around lots of people who were of my culture, as well as, you know, Indians, Pakistanis, you know, like Arabs, you know, Egyptians, etc. But that was like one part of the world, you know. But when I came to Mizzou, that's you know where I went to college, it was like people from all over the world. These are like Australians, you know, British people from India, but more like diverse people from India, you know, different parts of India, you know what I'm saying? And then South Americans, like, dude, you know. And sometimes in these circles, it would just feel like, I remember feeling like nervous to speak up. You know, here I am, like I had a story of being a musician, you know, prior to coming to college. Right. And, you know, that's not comfortable for me to feel uncomfortable. You know, it's like, wow, why do I feel like this? You know?
Holy shit, yeah. That
I was
must
just
have
like,
felt...
you know, you're like in your late teens and you're just like questioning yourself as well. You don't know who you are yet, you know, at this point.
That's
you know?
true. That's true. That's very
so it's
true.
like, you know, you're with these new people around, it's like hard to know what to say, you know, at those points, you know?
Sure.
So I really had to push myself into these positions so that I could get out of it. I could be more confident, you know.
Right.
You know, and my trick was like I joined student organizations and, you know, grew my confidence in that way. And I took up like leadership positions so that I could communicate more and put myself in those uncomfortable places and do it, you know.
Right.
And then, you know, in college I DJ'd and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I felt, you know, like I learned some skills through that, like people skills, communication skills.
Yeah. Like you're in the show business at that point, live performances, right? You're responsible for keeping a party going. Yeah. There's a call back, or back and forth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But then, you know, that helped me, you know, gain my confidence and like, you know, feel like I could communicate now and blah, blah, blah. Right. And then I moved to Kansas City.
Okay.
And here I was again, like in a situation where I was new again. You know, everything was new. Like in my college town, I pretty much knew everyone I needed to know in that space, you know.
Right. It's relatively tiny.
In the few years I've been there, I got to know people, right? But here I was in a new place again and trying to like make a business. And, you know, I'm a first gen immigrant. I don't have like a business that I'm inheriting or something like that, you know.
Sure.
And so I'm just like, dang, you know, like I got to create a new business. I got to get to know these new people.
Yeah.
And that was intimidating again, you know.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially around entrepreneurs who like been kicking ass for some time.
Yeah.
And you could see their levels are much higher, you know, and they're you know, the things that they've done in their lives, it just feels like, holy shit, you know, just feel like I'm just a college kid.
Right. You have to remember that also, that like in that way that you're fresh out.
Yeah, I'm just fresh out in this world, you know.
I think it's pretty good then to see like maximum potential right when you get out there, but it can also be very intimidating.
Yes, right.
To think that you could be in that place as well.
Yeah.
But you also, like, when you think about their stories, these folks that you were, you know, trying to like start a business amongst, they had some time in, right? Like they had some experience in. So I'm sure they felt the same way when they first started.
Yeah, so I started to like do the same thing and get to know people over there and business folks. And through this process, you know, like honestly, like if I could express a little bit of that feeling, it was sometimes like that intimidating feeling is like, I used to go to these meetups with entrepreneurs and, you know, I would feel awkward expressing like my thoughts, you know, and, you know, going into these networking situations, I felt like I didn't know exactly what to say to get that, get that connection or build that relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very. I don't want to say strange, but it's a very peculiar situation.
Right.
When folks are meeting up for a specific purpose in that nature, which is like to do business together.
Right.
And yeah.
it's hard, and the reason why I'm sharing all this is not just to like blab about myself, but it's it's because I feel like people who are watching this video go through this all the time. Like this is a normal feeling at networking events where it's like you go to a place to meet some people and it's just like a little awkward because it's a bunch of strangers, like you just don't know anybody in here.
Absolutely.
But then you're expected to like now get some information, like get some numbers or like some contacts, add some people on LinkedIn. That's why people go to networking events.
To create contacts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's fine, but breaking the ice is like that social anxiety, I guess. Like that's where all that is taking place. But I think once you like, I guess, break that barrier and you've made like the initial, hey, I'm Raf, or hey, I'm Saheer. Like if you do that and it's not met with something cordial in that way, then like, I guess those are very unique experiences. And like I haven't really had any, like that, where like if I put myself out somewhat genuinely, I was always somewhat meted by, hey, it's me, or hi, I'm this.
Right.
And I think like sometimes I think we do live more in our heads, maybe.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like what you said is correct. Like it's not that high pressure. The moment isn't that intense. But I used to feel that. I remember that anxiety. I used to feel like it's bigger than it is, and it isn't. That's the truth.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, I think I would give you more like of a leeway here, just because like if you're a first generation immigrant around folks that are of the country that they are making money in, oh man, there's like levels that I think you have to learn through, and just sticking at it. And I think that's kind of what is our story, really, both you and I. It's just like continuing at all costs, and allowing yourself to feel uncomfortable, and breaking that ice, in the beginning.
Yeah.
And kind of maybe taming your social anxiety along the way.
Right.
Where you start to kind of tell yourself like, hey, it wasn't really that bad.
Right.
And like, even if you didn't get anything out of it, nothing came of it.
Right.
You at least got that part done, which is honestly a really, really hard thing for most people, I would say.
Yeah. I remember like I was just like 23 or 24, something like that. And around that time, I ran into a mentor who became my mentor afterwards. He was a few years older than me, and he was he was an entrepreneur and a VC. Like he was a venture capitalist. He invested in companies.
Dope.
And he had a VC firm that invested in companies through a business incubator, like a startup incubator. It was an accelerator, like Techstars or like Y Combinator. It was one of those types of things.
So I am new to a lot of this tech
jargon. For sure.
So there's like so what an accelerator is that they take like a bunch of ideas or people that can execute ideas and then build out their products.
Yeah. So like a business incubator, like this is a startup incubator.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's also called an accelerator.
Okay.
And basically it's early stage startups who are like at very early stage, but the idea is great and they need help with execution. His company comes in, invests in them by giving them an office space, by giving them connections, by giving them mentors, guidance, and then teaches early stage startups on things like marketing, copywriting, website building, like how do you go there. And so like it'll be different types of early stage startups. Like some of it were products, some of it were services, some of it was like hot sauce products. Nice. Some of it was like service businesses, like mine. The one that I was working on was a service business where like I would have, service that I'm trying to sell to a hospital.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's their job as accelerators. They accelerate the process. Okay. And I knew him as a thought leader in Kansas City, and he was one of the head honchos. Okay. So I was like, all right, I need to get to know this guy. How do I do it? I saw that like his business accelerator was like taking applications for new business startups.
Oh, sick. Okay.
And in this application process, they just pick like 1%, of the people who have
It's always
Yeah. So I was like, whatever, I'm gonna go try this, And so I had a great business idea, so I was like, I'm gonna go do this, and I pitched to him, and through that process, like somehow it all worked out.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I became part of his accelerator program.
Nice. Okay.
So then this guy became a mentor of mine through this process. He was a really he was very smart. Like he was a smart business guy.
Yeah.
I felt like he had a lot of experience in the world of business, and he was like experienced in a lot of different aspects of life, you know, and
Right.
so I got to learn a number of things from this guy.
Okay.
In this process, like everything from like copywriting to like even deal structures and, you know, what needs to be on a website, you know, to get the sale, things like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It
Tangible
was-
things.
Yeah, invaluable experience from this guy.
Nice.
Later on, I found out that he was also an MTV reality star. And I don't watch MTV reality shows. So I
Holy
was
shit.
I was like, all right, I didn't even know about this side of him, you know?
Right. Right.
And then I realized, you know, I watched a few things. I realized like, holy snap, he's like a big MTV reality star, like multiple shows.
Okay.
And he has this whole other side of him. Like in those shows, he's something else. And in real life, when I'm seeing him in these business situations, dude, he's a completely different person, you know?
Holy crap. Okay.
But, you know, it just means he has different aspects to his life, you know, which
Yeah.
was like very intriguing to me.
Right. Right.
So I learned a lot from this guy, all right? A lot of networking skills I've learned from him, even at a time when I thought that I was really good at networking, you know?
Right,
like
right,
at
right.
24, 25, no, 23, 24 was my age. And I thought I was the shit, you know, sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, we were building the startup, you know, I was actually, it was a crazy startup that I was working on at that
So
time.
what is the startup about? Can you give me that?
Yeah. My
what's the-
startup was the medical scribe company. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
It was
All right.
one where we were gonna hire. It was a staffing agency for college kids who were interested in the medical field, and then we would get them
Solid.
into hospitals and blah blah blah.
Solid.
That startup failed, but I learned so much from these experiences. You know,
Right, okay.
That was the best thing about it. So you know, we were building the startup, you know, and
Okay.
he had 5% stake in the company, and so he was, you know, genuinely interested in trying to help us, you know, grow.
Right. Right.
And so in this particular business accelerator, there are like 2 demo days in a year, where it's like demo day is where he will invite a bunch of like VCs and investors and entrepreneurs from around the country, but mostly like Midwestern folks, you know, but it'll be people from San Francisco as well, or New York, you know.
All around.
Yeah, just like investors, you know. He'll invite a bunch of people, like 5,000 people to these. And all the, you know, business startups that he was working on that, you know, season,
Okay.
they will get to pitch their thing.
You said it's 5,000?
Yeah, 5,000 guests. Yeah, that was his, you know.
Holy shit.
That's what he used to get into these rooms.
Wow. And then that's for you to pitch to.
Pitch too. Yeah. It would be demo day, you know, and it would be
Wow.
like a whole thing.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Okay.
and one by one, you know, people come on stage and share what they've been working
See,
on.
I didn't even know things like this exist.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the tech world is like quite amazing in so many ways, you know. Like the music world could learn so much from the tech world.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you know, we had events where we invited like A&Rs from all the companies. Like let's say we packed a room with 2,000 A&Rs.
Right.
A&Rs would connect with each other, and then there are these people demoing new songs
On
you know?
stage.
Yeah.
Right.
These things do happen, but at a smaller scale.
Sure.
you know?
Sure.
But like for tech, it's just like everything is at high scale, bro.
Yeah.
So anyway, so
Wow.
yes,
Yeah.
these demo days would be like
awesome.
really important days, you know, where
Okay.
you give these demos to these people, and the rooms are full of like high tech, like high income, high net worth people. You know what I'm saying? These people are here to invest in a good idea,
Okay.
or become
Yeah.
an advisor, or like help, or you know, add
It's awesome.
value in some way.
Yeah.
So we were, you know, preparing for this, and he was the head honcho of all this, right? And so in the build up to this, like he was busy working on all of this stuff, and on the day, you know, I was like, I was suited up, I was, you know, wearing my best suit and, you know, tie and all this, you know, and I was like nervous, and I was like, holy snap, you know, there's gonna be a lot of people, and we gotta, you
Right.
know, pitch this thing. And so I went to the place a little early, and there was no sign of him. Like my mentor, you know,
Okay.
there's no sign of him anywhere. I was just like, where is this guy? You know, I just couldn't find him anywhere. I was asking around, and they were like, oh, I think I saw him there or there, you know.
Okay.
And you know, and it's a busy day because like he's
Yeah.
prepping, you know what
Right,
I'm saying?
right,
So understandable, no worries.
Of course.
He's doing the thing. All the guests started to come, and I still couldn't find him. And then I see him across the room. You know, like people were starting to fill up the room, but I noticed him from a distance. You know, this guy. All right, I told you he's an MTV reality star, right?
Yeah.
And he's an investor, so like he's always, you know, classy. He's always dressed to the nines. You know, he's always looking fresh and good. You know what I mean? Right. On this day, on demo day, on a big day, this guy I see across the room, he's like got his shirt tucked out, his tie is low, he's sweating profusely, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? You know? Okay. But you know, I just interacted with him a little bit. He was busy. He was running around. He was communicating with people. He was connecting people. He was everywhere. That day he was just everywhere. You know, he was really wearing that hat of like being this guy who, you know, invests in startups and puts together these type of things. You know,
right.
Through this process, I realized that what he was doing is he was being memorable. Right in this room. Everybody's wearing good suits. Everybody's got 3-piece suits. Everybody's got the rollies and the, how many rollies could you wear and impress any of these people? You couldn't.
Not really.
You know, like an entrepreneur who's here to like invest in a company, who flew in from the Bay. He doesn't want to. He doesn't care to see an MTV reality star like looking all, you know, rollied up and like jewels and. Sure. He don't care about that. He just want to make sure that, is this the right guy to invest in? Because like. If a person who's in that room to invest in any company, they're investing in this guy too, you know, because he's got 5% of all these companies. Sure. They're investing in him. Right. He's the leader, head honcho. Right. I realized that what he was doing is that he was branding himself as that entrepreneur who's like got his sleeves rolled up, doesn't care what he looks like. He's here to work. He's here to connect everybody. Wow. He might be an MTV reality star, but look at him here. You know?
Yeah, like the appearance is selling. Yeah. A certain mindset.
Right, and you know it worked, I believe, because everybody I talked to in that room was like, man, he's he's on his game face today.
He's doing it right now.
Yeah, he's doing his thing.
He's hosting, right? Yeah, like this is his event. So yeah, like the fact that he's on the floor, you know, not delegating. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, he's doing everything. Yeah, he's got his sleeves rolled up, his tie down, he's sweating, his shirt's tucked out. He don't care. He's just here to like do the thing, you know, which worked great for his brand. You know, as a startup investor who's like hands-on, he showcased that through his.
So he's inviting other folks that would be of his. Mindset in terms of investing in these companies.
Yeah, and you know, money is the fuel that, you know, accelerates. You know? So yeah, if you can get more investors in this program, that's better for everybody, right? Holy so shit. That was his goal that night, you know. So he came in with that goal, and he was like on it.
And he was on it.
Yeah. Damn. And you know, that's one of the lessons, you know, that I learned is like, you know, one of the things is like have a goal in mind, you know, and like remember, like kind of think about what you want people to remember you for, you know, like. People leaving that room will remember him as this hard-working entrepreneur investor who's like in the ground working, you know? Right. So like if I'm an investor from another state coming into Kansas City, I have a little more faith in my money, you know, if I put it in.
And that's what matters to you.
That what matters to me. Yeah, I want to see if this money's going to go and
I need to grow.
Multiply. Yeah, you know? And so that was the one thing that he was doing very well, that lesson that I learned from there, you know? Another lesson that I learned from this experience is that learn to stand out. He was standing the F out in a room where everybody's trying to look all good. Yeah. He was the opposite. He was standing out. Yeah. And musicians are awesome at that. You know, musicians like to be the rebel, you know, like try to look different than the rest, you know? Right. So musicians are already in that step, you know, that's a great thing, you know? Yeah. And I think, you know, him coming from an MTV background
had something to do with that. He's probably got the showmanship to him.
He got that figured out, you know?
Yeah.
So that was exceptional. And, you know, I thought that was like brilliant what he did. Right. And then fast forward a few years, you know, at that point I was like 23, 24. A few years later when I was like 27 or something, 27, 28, maybe even 26, I don't remember. I used some of these principles to sneak in and meet with Gary Vee for the first time.
Oh, shit.
And my networking skills actually helped me get time with Gary Vee one-on-one.
And wow. I did not know this about you.
Yes.
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah.
And you know, I connect with Gary Vee a lot because like he's a first-gen immigrant too, but he came when he was 3. You know, I came when I was like a teenager. A
little bit later.
Like, late teenager.
Right.
But, you know, he's got that first-gen immigrant hustle, you know, that he's learned from his dad.
And you know what I'm saying? And that's what's really important is like the parenting and like the examples that a kid can lead from.
Right.
That's awesome.
I always wanted to see him. You know, I always wanted to meet him, you know, and Gary Vee's in New York. I'm in Minneapolis. How the F do I make this happen, you know?
Right.
But I got a chance to use my skills to meet him. And so what happened is, in Minneapolis, there's this guy who was trying to put on a show and invite Gary Vee over as the main speaker of this event. Okay. This guy was a few years older than me. He was a nice guy, and he had a podcast as well. And so he was trying to like improve
how did
his
you meet
brand
this
as well.
person, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So what happened is that I saw that he's putting together this event.
Okay.
And it was like $50 or $60 for a regular general ticket, for the general public. Okay. But then there was like a premium ticket, which was like $1,000, where you would have dinner with Gary and do a one-on-one. Okay. And I was like, this is what I want. I want the one-on-one. I don't want to just sit in the audience. So I was like, how do I do it? At that point, I didn't really want to spend $1,000 to meet Gary Vee. Yeah. Maybe today I would think of it differently, but at that time I wasn't ready to spend that money to get to this event. So I DM'd the guy. I hit up the guy, the head honcho who's putting this together, and I was like, "Hey, what's good, bro? I really love what you're doing." And I told him the value that I wanted to add to him. I said, like, "Listen, I love this event. I want to do this. I want to go to this event. Definitely. I already got this ticket. Like, I got the general, one. But I want to add more value to you because what you're doing is amazing. So, like bring Gary Vee to Minneapolis, and now I get to meet him. This is amazing. So,
okay.
Let me add value to you. These are the things that I can do. I offered him like, hey, I could do the videography, I can video edit for you, I can shoot, like whatever you want.
Right.
I can help you with the sound systems.
It's the publicity aspect, but then also, sound system. Wow.
Yeah, I could help you. I don't know. I was just throwing shit out. I was like, I'm gonna add value to you, bro.
Anyway, possible.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, if you need a website thing, I'll figure out the website for you. They already had a website, but I was still pitching whatever the fuck I can. Yeah. And then, so I did that, and I hit him up and did I was like, this is how I want to add value to you for doing what you want, doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. That got his attention. He opened the DMs and he got back to me, hey, bro, thank you, for reaching out, blah, blah, blah. And he said, sure, we need as much help as possible because, it's an event. It's a big event, Yeah. Okay, cool. And then, when I met him, I told him that, okay, I want to add value to you, and I want to see Gary Vee. Like, I wasn't like trying to like sneak my way into this. I was. You
wanted to be respectful. That
way.
I
wanted to tell him like I love the hustle you're doing. Don't have $1,000 to pay to meet him, but I really, really, really need to meet him. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm adding value to you, just however I can, please. And he was like, that makes sense. He appreciated the hustle. He appreciated the openness.
Yeah.
Turns out he didn't really need too much help. He already had a video team. He had a sound team. He had the website already. I think I helped him a little bit with marketing and SEO, but I didn't really get to add too much value to him at that point.
Sure.
Later on, I helped him with podcasts and stuff like that, but at that point, I didn't.
Yeah.
But I respect the fact that he
was great.
Yeah, he was nice to me. Like he wasn't like, oh, fuck off, bro. You need
no.
Yeah,
and I think that's been, and like if you are fortunate enough, right? Like you have that experience of meeting good people, and like they don't like they're not good people just like in the background. Like they actually do good things for you.
Yeah.
And I think like if you have a genuine purpose, again, I feel like the universe lines itself up that way.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
the universe lined us up for sure in this situation.
Wow.
Because so we were building up to the event, and I'm gonna, I was getting excited to meet Gary Vee. Some of the principles that I was thinking of is like, how do I, make it memorable for him, and it was like, so I decided that, I'm from the music industry and I know art and, I'm creative and all this. How do I express this to him? I wanted to give Gary Vee a gift when I meet him, so that it's something that he remembers, Right. And that gift, it couldn't be just something random, that he would just toss away,
Okay.
And what do you give a millionaire entrepreneur? Like he's probably got everything he needs, what am I gonna give him,
Okay.
So I was just like, what could I give him? I landed on a vinyl record. So I created a vinyl record of his famous interview with Larry King Live.
Oh shit.
He was on Larry King, and he did this whole interview. It was early in his career, so he would have some nostalgia to it, you know.
Wow, that is a fantastic. Excuse me, that is a fantastic gift.
Right?
Wow.
No one else would have ever given him a vinyl record.
No, I
right?
don't think so.
Hell no. Okay. Who would do that?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're into the music game and like, I don't know. No, come on. You know, in this day and age, you never see that. So I was like, hey, this is perfect. You know, it expresses many things.
Wow.
So I got I created a vinyl record. I did some sound edits. I added some intros and outros and
fire.
You know, made it awesome. You know,
fire.
And then slapped on a cover to it. Made it really good, like a cover that I designed, you know, showcase my, you know, skills.
Yeah.
And I was ready for this.
Right.
When the event was coming closer, I didn't really know how to, like, the logistics of it. I didn't know where I should go to meet them, or, you know, it's a whole big event area, you know, and I just had the general tickets and a vinyl
where are you
record.
gonna find this guy?
Yeah, how is this gonna work? You know, I didn't know all the logistics. But I was like, whatever, you know, I just had faith and just moved forward, you know.
Nice.
And that day, another principle that I applied from my previous guru is stand out, right? So I'm a brown guy. That's also part of my brand, right?
Yeah.
I decided to wear a Prince coat, like a desi outfit. Like people wear Prince coats to weddings, you know, and wedding receptions, really.
Okay.
Wedding receptions, you know, in the desi communities, South Asian communities.
Yeah.
We wear these like elaborate outfits, right?
Yeah, I think I had a couple. Okay.
Yeah. So I decided I'm gonna wear a Prince coat, because everybody else is gonna wear t-shirts and jeans and you know, maybe suits. Who's gonna wear a Prince coat? You know, nobody. These are like amazingly classy outfits for wedding receptions and big events. I did wear that
to my cousin's wedding in San Francisco. I'm gonna show you a picture later.
I bet you did.
Yeah. I'm gonna show you that.
It was one of those things, and it was purple.
Oh shit.
And I was like, all right, you know, Minneapolis, you know, the city where Prince, you know, the Mr. Purple Rain comes from, you know, Prince.
Whoa.
Great branding opportunity, you know, brown outfit.
Wow.
You know, purple. Who else would wear purple? Only me.
Right.
And I have a vinyl record. So I wore this, you know, to the event.
Holy shit.
And I was just like, I was in the event, I was looking for the guy, and I couldn't find him. You know, because, you know, obviously it was another event day that was like busy. The guy picked up Gary Vee from the airport. He also did a podcast with him that day, and he was hosting the show. So understandable. I couldn't really find him. I was like, I don't know where to go. You know, I was just like, please, I need to meet Gary Vee wearing a fucking Prince coat, and this shit is hot as fuck.
I'm sweating my ass off. I better meet somebody.
I got a vinyl record
for him.
What am I doing this? So I'm just walking around. And then I see this room full of people, and it looked like they just finished dinner, and they're like all kind of lining up and mingling. And I saw Gary Vee in there. I was like, oh, this is the room, the $1,000 a seat room. You know, this is the one.
Yeah.
Somehow I ran into this room. You know? It was serendipity again.
Okay,
you know, because I was just walking around, and I was like, holy snap, you know.
Right.
And I was, you know, I was dressed up. You know, you know, those outfits are classy. You know what I mean? So I looked the part. You know. So I just kind of snuck in. I was like, gee, this is probably it. I just walked in. All right. I didn't have the bracelet. I didn't have the badge. Wow. I just walked in because I looked the part.
Okay. So you didn't have any of the wristbands. You said you didn't have any of the identification that you should be in this room.
Right. I had none of that. I just had a general ticket and a fucking vinyl record.
Nice. Yeah. And that was your ticket.
Yeah, I guess.
Was to be like,
Yeah. But so I snuck in the room.
Right.
And then lo and behold, thank God for this, the guy, the head honcho who was putting all this together, he was in this room because, you know, because he's putting all this together. He was there, thank God. And like all those conversations I've had with him before this had helped, you know. So when he saw me, he was like, oh, what's up, bro? What's up, Raf? You know, like, I'm glad you made it, you know. And I was like, yes, I'm so glad.
Now you're in.
Yeah, now I'm in. He's like, all right, hey, let me, you know, introduce you to Gary. You know, I just do. And he was excited. You know, he was like, I just did a podcast with him, bro. It was sick. I was like, dude, really? You know, it was like, it was awesome. You know, I was having the thing with him. And then I got this one-on-one moment with Gary, and I was able to give him this vinyl record, and he was just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Holy shit.
And he really appreciated it. He looked at it and like he flipped it. He was just like, wow, this is nuts. Like he was really like appreciating like what I gave him, you know?
Yeah, that's so dope.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
And it was a great opportunity like to just pick his brain for a few minutes and just get acquainted with him, you know, for a few minutes. And it wasn't obviously too long.
Yeah.
But that moment, I got a picture, I got to do my thing, you know?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
really got to connect with him just for that moment in my life, and like made it a memorable thing for me, you know?
Yeah, and for him too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
By like having something tangible to give him for that moment.
Yeah, a guy in a purple fucking Vince coat.
Just gave me a vinyl of my interview.
Yeah.
Right? Like that is.
Yeah.
With, you said Larry King?
Larry King.
Like that's a high point in anybody's life.
Right. And that's what I've thought.
And so like, but see, like having that kind of foresight, having that level of consideration.
Right.
That's rare, man. Like that's not natural in a sense where I feel like because maybe you had so much experience, I think, with this mentor of yours.
Right.
That gave you the real game.
Right.
About like, this is how you get in. This is really just how you work the angles.
Yes.
And then you figured it out for yourself.
Right.
And then from your world, which is DJ Raf gave you a vinyl. You
right.
know, like that.
Right. Who else would give you a vinyl?
That's sick. You know? That's sick. I hope Gary's watching right now, man. That's really dope.
Yeah. That was a great moment. And like, you know, I was able to use those principles that I learned, you know, like I was able to stand out, you know, with my outfit and just everything, the branding, the personal brand, so that he remembers, you know. And that event was amazing because, you know, he said some amazing things on stage as well that, you know, helped me think about things in a different way.
Right.
And then when he was leaving, I was able to like go to him and like, you know, fist bump again and like, you know, like do the thing. And he bounced.
Maintaining that little interaction. That's okay.
And it was great. Like, you know, his hustle is so hard. His hustle is so hard. Like that day, it's like he was picked up from the airport. You know, my friend picked him up, and then they did the podcast. Then Gary did the, you know, dinner, and then the one-on-one meets with all these people who paid for the dinner. You know, Gary's like on point with his energy throughout this, you know?
Wow.
Like he wasn't tired when he was interacting with me, he was with me, you know? He wasn't like, that's another networking skill. Like he was with me, he was listening.
Yeah.
He wasn't just like, oh, okay, yeah, what's up, bro? Here's another fan.
Yeah.
Let's take a picture. Fuck. You know, like he wasn't like that. You know, he was full energy, doing the thing. Then he went on stage, did the whole thing with full energy. On his way exiting, like he was just like, when I, you know, fist bumped him on his way out, he was like glowing with energy. Honestly, like he had the smile on his face when I reached up to him, you know, and he wasn't like, you know what I mean?
No,
like
he was up.
Yeah, he was up. Like some people would be like, all right, bro, this has been a long day.
Yeah.
Gotta go. And now, like, and from there, he went on a flight, like night
back to the airport.
Yeah, back to the airport from there, you know, and he's probably gonna catch a nap in the plane, but you see what I mean? That energy is so impressive to me.
Yeah, and that makes the networking worth it. Really.
Yes, yeah.
Like having stamina.
Yes.
So and stamina in a sense where you do stay attentive through all the different perspectives that you're getting.
Right.
And the people that you feel like, you know, might add value, you have to be up, and like whatever method that is, you know, like that's got to be a priority. I think,
you're right.
With networking.
Yeah, and there's so much to learn from that. Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, that was really interesting, you know. And, you know, honestly, like Gary Vee's a different beast, you know, and, you know, everybody has their own style. And Gary Vee's style is definitely very New Jersey, go, 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 you know.
Okay.
So it's, you know, it's great, but it's great to learn from that, you know. And I connect with it because I'm a first-gen immigrant, you know, and I have that hustle. I'm always like, go, 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 you know.
Right.
Makes me uncomfortable if I'm not go, go, go.
Sure.
But, yeah, you know, that was awesome. That's a long-winded way of me to say that I do have 7 real points, 7 real lessons that I've learned over the years to help anyone, just about anyone, become a better networker. You know, whether you're an entrepreneur, you know, getting in the game, you know, early stage startup, or an artist, a musician, or artist manager. Artist managers need to be very good networkers.
Oh my God, that's like
that's
the prerequisite.
That's the job.
Yeah.
A&Rs, and also like even people looking for jobs. You know, if it's true that your network is your net worth, then, you know, the audience, you guys really need to put some effort into becoming a better networker. You know, that's just my opinion.
Right.
And, you know, here are 7 things that I freaking learned through my years of networking.
Let's hear it.
That can help, you know. And, the point number one for becoming a better networker is actually the only point that you need to know. The only point. This is the number one. The rest of it is just fucking bonus, honestly.
Okay.
The number one point is add value. That's it. If you can add value, if you can figure out what value you can add, then everything else will work itself out.
Yep.
You just need to focus on that. How can I add value?
Sure.
What do I bring to the table? What is a value that I can add to the people that I'm meeting? How can I serve them? Or, what part of me can I show to them so that I can serve them better?
Right.
These are the questions you need to ask, you know? And like point number two, like this rest of it is bonus,
You're right.
But really the second point is pre-decide all this stuff. Pre-decide what value will I add?
Right.
Pre-decide, what can I give away for free?
To whoever you're approaching maybe, or to whoever you might be. In your case, that was Gary Vee who you were pursuing, like you were tailoring that part, which was like, how can I add value at this moment? And you were settling on that vinyl, which I think is, again, a great gift, by the way.
Like, I agree. Pre-decide all this. Like, pre-decide, like, what value am I going to add? How are they going to remember me after this, meeting?
Right.
And, when people go to networking events, it's just like, the goal is to meet people, but if they don't remember you, it's kind of pointless,
Yeah, like you just went out into the world and came back.
Yeah, you just had a good party.
Right.
You got to go with a purpose.
Yeah.
So you got to go with a mission.
Memories aren't what, build empires. Like you really have to, add value.
Yeah, add value. Yes. So pre-decide all this stuff, you know? So, as a, producer, as a, beat maker, for example, if you're trying to go into a music industry event, where there's like, you're going to mingle with other music industry folks, or you're going to a creators event, where there's going to be YouTube creators, YouTubers, or people in that line of entertainment,
Right.
As a producer, you should go in there pre-decided that, hey, maybe I can give these YouTubers, like, for example, free beats, for their YouTube videos, background beats, 5 beats. I had pre-decided 5 beats that I'm going to give away for free. And that's the way you're adding value,
Exactly. And in like a very genuine way.
In a genuine way.
Something that you can offer that is coming from like a space of like, I guess, like skill set, and not just like, what might this person need, and let me figure out how to get it done right. Whereas like, if you have 5 beats in the tuck, like that's, just go ahead and find people who might want to just use these beats. Oh, this sounds good. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then like that's a honest transaction that you made there.
Right. And for other people, like it just depends on what skills you have. And for some people it's different things. And for me, during large swathes of my life, videography was the thing that I was trying to give away for free. I was trying to give away websites for free, even though there was a period in my life where I was selling websites. I was still trying to give away websites for free. I would go into networking events like saying that, hey, do you need help with your websites? Like I could give you websites for free. I could give you at least the first version of it, and teach you how to take it from there,
Right.
I was doing that. Many people could do different things. It just depends on what you're there for.
That's awesome. See, like, well, for myself, like, I think what comes to mind is like the indispensable part, that you can be a part of this process.
Right.
And if you went elsewhere, not saying it would be better or worse, but it would be different.
Right.
And I think what you offer at that moment, like, you become indispensable. So for music production, an example, like, I was on the cusp of it becoming, a laptop sport. Where you are now really leveling the playing field in terms of creativity. So like, what can I offer of value to artists who could virtually do everything themselves?
Right.
Well, I can mix. Give me I'll mix it. Or I can record you. I can bring my laptop. I have my microphone. I can record you if you want to do that. So there was like, I was trying to place myself at any part of the process. To like be able to be, okay, well, I have a producer already that makes me beats on demand, and I already have my own setup. I don't like, these are the mixes that I have right now between me and my producer. We're happy with them, but let's see what you can do. And for a long time there, the first one I did on the house, maybe the first 3 I did on the house. There are people till this day that I don't expect payment from, but that's because like they add value to me in different ways.
Right.
And like that's really important. I think a lot of the times like value isn't always associated with a dollar sign, or opportunity isn't always associated with a dollar sign. Usually it comes as a byproduct of like you know, a genuine connection, and then like building from there. Exactly. So like for me, like that way also I got to learn every side of this. So then I could tell people that, you know, who you afterwards, like you do become friends with folks that you like do good work with.
Exactly.
And they see you doing good work, and they see you getting better. They see you treating their product with care.
Exactly.
And then you start shooting the shit with them after, you know, you've settled out the receipts.
Right.
And they're just like talking to you.
Right.
And like after that, when you start weighing in on maybe something that they're talking about, you know what, like, is it really that? Because like I thought, you know, this, that, and the third, you slowly but surely start to add value in different places in their life.
Yes.
And they start to tell others that might have similar issues, be like, you know what, Saheer was just talking to me and saying XYZ, and like that way your name now and your reputation starts to precede you.
Exactly.
In a good way, you know, and then it makes that ice breaking part just a little bit easier.
Right.
Yeah, because you did good work, and like and your networking like in the beginning really like helped that.
Yes. 100, bro. Like you're so right, and I appreciate you saying this because that was my next point. Point number 3 is work with people, and that's the best way to improve your network, because I believe that if you work with somebody, just like you said, your relationship grows from there. You know?
Naturally.
Yeah, naturally. You got a lifelong friend here now. Like if you worked on a project with them, you know, that was the same thing with that, you know, mentor that I had like early on in my career. You know, I worked with him. It was his, you know, business incubator, but I worked with him on this startup together, you know, and we became closer through this process.
Absolutely.
I learned so much from him, you know,
that collaborative approach.
Yes.
That we're both putting aside our personal wants to get this one thing right, or these many things right. I think that forges a certain kind of bond. That afterwards, when you speak to certain people just on a life tip and just whatever they might be doing, it comes from a place of like, this is a genuine person here who you know does good work. And that if that's the foundation of your relationship, doing good work, like that is a solid networking link. You know, that's something, and then it speaks for you. I'm sure, hopefully, I have not heard this list, by the way, so like I'm not sure if it's coming down the ways, but the word of mouth factor, that becomes something that happens while you're sleeping. Essentially, you know.
It's like your relationships compound.
Oh my God.
Over time.
I can't tell you how many times like I've like gotten unexpected like inquiries, not because I had ever pitched to anybody, but because they were like, well, you know, this person told me you come highly recommended. I love that phrase.
Facts. Because
that means whoever else I worked with, and you know, I don't go checking. I really don't, unless they tell me like, you know, like this person XYZ. But if I've had a couple of moments where it was like, you come highly recommended. I'm like, man, don't say anything more. I don't need to go overanalyze, you know, where I did good work. I just need to know that I did good work, and I'm keep doing that. So then, and that I think forges your own path as it moves forward naturally. With people who want to work with you, with people who are open to your ideas, even if it might not be what they envisioned, you know, and like there now you added unexpected value. You took their vision, maybe you took some collaborative idea to another place, and we're bringing it back to add value again. You know, that's why I said that's the core. Adding value is the only secret. You know, 100%. The rest of this is awesome bonuses, but really, but these might be, but these are tangible ways. Now, these are techniques. To add value. These are techniques. Yeah. And so, but I want to reiterate, like for me, in the beginning, it was like in music production, and you know this as well as any other music producer out there, the competition is thick. It is different levels of saturated, but in a very good way. There's a lot of talent out there, and if you're going to cut through that noise in the beginning, you might have to do a lot of work for free, and it is really for you to get that experience, and for you to have some other means of getting your bank account full, you know, and that's just the reality of it. But then when you cross over into that 1 or 2 projects, maybe, then you start to see what the value was of just honestly just doing good work with good people. That's right, exactly, bro. And you know, that brings me to the next point.
is, pre-decide your 30-second pitch, like who you are as a person and what you're working on. Have a pitch, like have a 30-second elevator pitch that you that expresses who you are, what you're doing, what type of value you can add. Have that ready, but do not use it unless you're asked for it. Unless somebody says, "What about you, bro? Tell me about you."
Yeah, what do you got going on?
Yeah. Then you use the 30-second pitch and you express it. Because other than that, like your main job at a networking event or a networking situation is listening. Your goal is to be the best listener in town. Okay. You got to be the person who listens and gets things out of people. So in every situation, like for example, this is also like point number 5, obviously. Point number 5, be a great listener.
Right.
So in every, your job is to go into these situations to initiate conversation. Like see somebody, say, "Hey, what's up? Hi, I'm Raf," and then start listening. Ask them questions. Ask them what they do. What are they up to? What's their latest challenge?
Right.
Yeah. Just like really be interested. Be a great listener,
being present.
Tell them, be present. Tell them like, what interests you from their story, not from your story, but like their story.
Right.
And go into those things. Start picking those threads because you're going to learn so much just by being the best listener in the room. Yeah. Like that's such a nice secret, like a nice key to success. Is like if you can be the best listener in the room, you're gonna learn from every single person in this room. Right.
Easily.
Yeah. And the one who talks too much in that room is just like not learning anything new.
No.
They're just like revamping what they already know and just
exhaling hot air at that point.
Just telling everyone who they are.
It's really important to like surround yourself with folks who can level you up. And I think that's a talent too, though, is like gauging that you're in the right room to be networking up.
Exactly.
And learning from people and being an attentive listener that way.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah. You got to be the best listener. And what that does is also like it intrigues people. They get interested about you, and they, people say this all the time. Like they have amazing long conversations with people where they had like, man, I had the best conversation with this guy. Yeah. But this guy never did anything other than just listen, and the person who's talking just feels like, wow, I had the best conversation. Like, you didn't really have a conversation. It was just one way.
You're right.
But that person who did the most listening made you feel like you had the best experience in your life, with them. So I think this is a great skill.
Yeah, and that's that way also like that. I'm sure the listener there gains some value as well.
A lot of value. You as the listener, you're getting value from every single person in this room because you're the best listener.
No matter what, no matter what that perspective is, like you have to be able to just file that away.
Yeah, because you run into people who do so many different things, and it's just like, wow, he does this, oh, he does that, or like, oh, how do they think about, this challenge in their lives, like, because in networking situations, you meet people from different walks of life, so sometimes you meet people who are in completely different industries, and if you can learn something from there and apply it for something for you, and for us, it's so important because like, we're entrepreneurs in the, entertainment business and also like, we're in podcast and like we write books and where do we get all these stories to talk about? This is from other people.
Sure. Like our life experiences.
That brings me to number 6. I think we're number 6. If we're wrong, we'll figure it out in the edit. But okay, number 6 is be the party starter. Okay. So, one of this advice that I read from a book a long time ago when I was in college, it was a book by Jack Canfield. And what he wrote is that, like, go into networking events like it's your party. Like, even if you didn't throw the party, imagine that it's your party and all these people are here for you. And so, like, be the party starter. Okay. And what that meant was introduce people to each other. Like if it was your party, what would you do? Like if some people came to your house, right?
Yeah, you would make sure everyone got acquainted.
Yeah, everyone got acquainted. Everybody was good, right? You want to make sure everybody has everything they need.
Absolutely. But like it's really important that when strangers enter your place, you let people know, you make the introduction. That like, yo, Raf, this is such and such, such and such. This is Raf.
Yeah.
You know, this is who I was talking about early. You know, like this, whatever, and then go get your refreshments or whatever.
Right. Yeah, and as you go into these networking events, like, if you get to know some people, use that to like introduce new people. And through that, you're having like now a communal conversation with like two people.
Sure.
And they would remember you as that person who connected, and they're like, again, you're adding value in a way,
and just in those moments.
Yeah.
Like it's not appearing self-serving. It's more like this person is like putting forward genuine efforts to like bring people together,
right?
Even if this isn't your thing.
Even if it's not your thing. That's
cool.
It's that's how you like increase your Rolodex. That's how you increase the number of people it's just like connecting others to each other, and that just multiplies because now they also feel the need to introduce you to somebody else, in an ideal situation. It doesn't always happen, but
that's why you keep yourself available. You make sure your skills are up to point, because you never know where this person might be down the road,
right?
And where they might just think of you.
And
that's happened also too many times in my career personally, where it was friends looking out for friends,
right?
And they were like, like, so here's the guy, you should go. And then like they just make that connection,
right? And
they do it because we did genuine work together,
right?
And like they know that,
right? I mean, look, it's the same reason why we're in this room here today. Like I was like, man, I want to do this podcast and XYZ. I didn't really know all the hows to get there. I knew what I wanted to do and why. I didn't really know all the hows, and I hit you up because we've had great experience working together prior.
Exactly.
And I knew you were a nice guy. And so I was like, hey, maybe I'll shoot the shot with him and talk to him about this idea.
Right.
We'll see.
Bro.
And that led to so many things. And today we're doing this together.
Excited beyond measure. Yeah, that's an understatement. But like the fact that, it was that you and I had interactions in the past on a whole different level,
right?
In a different capacity. I tell this to my friends all the time, but for the longest time, Raf was a mysterious like person or entity that was actually communicating with me, and like was talking to me, but like never seen this guy before.
I was an AI.
But
I was a bot.
You have no idea. You could have sold me that easily and be like, you know what? He said, "Be just like he seems
the brown
he
AI.
seems too on point to be on it all the time, like responsive, like."
I see what you said.
Now it's all piecing together. But no, you're like Jarvis, like or Vision, from Marvel, manifested. But I think the fact that we did have positive interaction on a tangible level, meaning there was an exchange of XYZ, and like on multiple fronts. It wasn't just like one instance. It was like maybe a handful, but still it was something like you repeatedly saw like satisfactory, if not great, results from both sides. And then when something like this comes along where it's like we need to have a place where we can really shoot the shit, and really talk about things that are important to us, like I'm honored that you would think of me in that regard, and that like this is where I want to be 100%.
It's my it's my pleasure and privilege too, like to do this. Like,
man, this is
dream come true.
And learning, I'm just learning right now. Again, I don't know this list. This is 7 new things for me, even to take home. I'm trying to get out there more. Just being more of an extrovert, being able to feed off of folks. And like this is a great exercise in that. And I think like that's something that I'm learning. Like just off of these 7 here, it's just like being with people and being able to bounce off of each other like ideas or just references, and that means you got to get out there. Absolutely.
You got to get out there and have fun.
That's
and
huge.
That's my point number 7. The final point is just have fun, go out there, have fun, be yourself. And stop thinking about yourself. Like the problem that I had a long time ago was. When I was in networking situations that made me uncomfortable, when I was 20, in my early 20s and late teens, the reason was I was in my head. I was just thinking about me. I was selfish. I was thinking, how do I look? What do I need to say? Oh, can I impress them with what I'm saying? And that's what I was asking myself. Overthinking. I was being in my head with myself. That we don't need to be like that. All we need to do is think outside of us. Like think, how can I serve them? How can I add value to them? Then it takes off all the pressure from you.
It really does.
Pressure's gone. Now you just want to serve them.
And what they've asked for, you can deliver. And like that's important. Like and you become indispensable that way. That like you're not doing anything based off of something that makes you uncomfortable, but this is what I can offer for real. and I am here for it.
Right, exactly. Right. Yeah, that's the best thing. I think like most of the best networking situations that I've ever had was that I was having a lot of fun, with just people in the room.
Yeah.
And, it was a genuine understanding and genuine intent to learn.
So if I could speak to that real quick, actually knowing that networking is happening, I don't think that that's ever really happened for me, in a sense where, because I guess like I think in most like average people's view, I think I'm more of a homebody than most people, and in that way I don't get to meet as many people.
Sure.
And a lot of the people that I do meet come off of word of mouth, and they come off of references.
Okay. Yeah.
But there are those handfuls of times, I'll go to the studio and I'll meet these artists, these producers in person. I'll meet their team, and then XYZ falls into place. And I think I'm just saying, like, at this point, like getting out there and networking wasn't okay, I'm gonna go try to meet this kind of people. They just happen to be there.
Sure.
Like there's some producers that are working with the top of top talent, but I just happened to be in that session, and because we were working with a common friend or something like that, and then from there we just managed to do work together. Right. So then like that contact gets established.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you are now given opportunities to prove yourself.
Right.
And networking happened. It happened already.
Yes.
But I think in the most genuine. So I'm really thankful personally for me in that way that like I didn't have to like break the ice as much as I imagine you must have had to, being in these events.
Sure.
Where so I haven't even been to as many like music conventions as I was wanting to go to. Like NAMM just happened.
Right. Yeah.
Man, that looks like a playground, like a total like a candy store. And
yes.
And being able to be around like-minded individuals, I'm sure that the level up, that process that it takes to level up is drastically shortened.
Right.
Just because you're now around so many others that are in your field or in your lane, and you can learn so much from in those capacities. So
it's true.
Yeah, I think the genuine nature part of that is important.
Yeah. Even in that example that you mentioned where you run into people in your place is also a wonderful example of a networking opportunity, because like in those situations you're like you have people over at your studio, or like you're over at somebody else's studio, and if you're genuinely interested in the teams that are there, like the people who are there, and not just like, oh, this is the manager of that artist, so I need to get to know him. Not in that way, but more like, this person is here, how are you, what are you doing today? Right. No, not like a hey, like
don't be so
let's
thirsty,
do a collab.
Like off top.
Don't be so thirsty. Just get to know this person,
right? And
then figure out how can you add value to him.
How can you add value?
Yeah, if you add value, then that person will remember you. In that meeting.
But okay, so it's also important to adjust the expectation on that, because sometimes that might not be returned right away.
No, and it's fine.
And you have to know that.
Yeah.
You have to know that it's fine.
Right.
And not to think that like, oh, this person just ghosted me, or this person isn't. Yeah. No, like they remembered. And I promise that like when life goes around for them and when it comes around for you, you guys will link up again in like the realest and best of ways.
Yeah. And listen, man, like even if you didn't, like even if nothing happened, you, by being genuine and by being a good listener and by trying to add value to these people that you meet randomly at studios, by you being this person, you learn so much from them, because people love to talk, bro. Like people love to talk about themselves.
Be a sponge that way.
Bro, in the music industry, holy shit, like everyone wants to talk.
Yeah.
Everyone's a great talker. Hey, I know, because I'm a great talker. All right? Everyone loves to talk.
Absolutely.
If you go into these rooms and just like pull things out of people,
right,
the shit that you learn at the end of it, you're just like, holy fuck.
Oh, so that's what y'all are doing.
Yeah. Right? And so at the end, like even if they don't work with you at anything, it's fine. You learned a bunch of shit that night.
And that's important. Like you take away everything is life, can be a life lesson.
Yeah.
And you don't have to necessarily look for reciprocity in the way that you imagined it. But maybe just be the best version of yourself. Yeah. Try to add value in a very genuine way. And then I think, things line up. The universe does make a way for itself, but it does take time.
Yeah, it takes time.
And that means like you do keep your head down and do good work.
Keep doing good work.
And I think like that other side, like when the payoff it eventually finds its ways, and not just once in your lifetime, but multiple times in life.
It'll
You'll be like, oh, it's you? Oh, shit, dog. Yeah, hell yeah, why not?
Yes.
And that's, oh man, when those moments happen too.
Right.
Where like the person that you were trying to pursue for this XYZ idea, like you haven't maybe spoken in a while or something, but then you do have maybe they opened the email that day, or maybe they had some time that day.
Yes.
Because they also are busy people. That's another thing I think I maybe overthink a lot. I have this main character syndrome where like, oh, I think like everything revolves around me. And then if like this didn't happen, then it's like, it's not going to happen. And it's like, nah, dude. Like, chill out. Like everyone has a lot of shit going on in their life. My wife, bless her heart, has to remind me that all the time too, is that like you have things in your life, other people have their things in their life.
Right.
When you can really be of value for each other, and if you have been, those little windows are all that it takes for you to like now level up, for you to now prove yourself again in front of maybe an audience that you don't even know was there.
For sure.
So like those things, I think it's important not to lose faith.
Yes.
If it's not if you're not meted with like, you know, a like response, or you don't get something out of it. It shouldn't be transactional is what I guess I'm trying to get at when it comes to adding value. Adding value, I think, has more of a long game approach to it.
Right. Yeah, dude, you know, you're right. It's like I have a big poster in my living room, a big wall hanging that I made myself, and it's have faith and carry on. Like with any situation in life, I just try to apply that in my life, where it's like in these type of situations too, it's just like have faith, everything will work out. And just carry on, do your thing. You know, do your thing. Don't worry, don't stop.
Calling back to that the situation with that one South Asian artist at South by Southwest. Yeah. Like at that moment, right, you could have flipped out thinking like it's all going to whatever. Yeah. But then again, bless the universe, Humble was there.
Right.
Ready to take that spot. You were ready to receive that energy as well. You're ready to receive an artist of that caliber as well because of your genuine work before. Right. I think that's a solid example of like, you know, just not letting, because this is South by Southwest doing a panel, right? Those are networking opportunities.
Exactly.
And that's exactly that.
If you're not
gonna remain on the bigger picture, I think it's easy to get distracted and to get lost in the little things. And you have to remember that not really, like maybe 5% of things in this life are personal. The other 95, huge chunk,
it's not personal.
It's not. They have their own shit.
Right.
And you have your own shit.
Yeah. You absolutely nailed it. You're right. And you know, like I really do think like, you know, artist managers or like people in the music business who are on the business side, marketing, PR, there's so many things, you know. I really believe people like them really need to network and get to know as many people as possible. Yeah. And they need to apply these type of lessons learned into their networking situation.
The fact that you're on the ground and you know these things, the fact that you know that, but then you can also communicate. You're an effective, you know, information giver. I think that makes you a unique asset in that way. That you can speak to people about like in different capacities about the process when it comes to music. I mean, I know you do a lot of other things in life as well, but I think that musically, like that's something that's always been, you know, noted with yourself.
Right. So. Yeah, I agree. You know, as an entrepreneur, I feel like I get so much information from just other people, you know, and it helps me to meet people from all walks of life, you know. Yeah. Because there's so much perspective you get, and you know, like you learn like so much from just listening to people. Is that like all the problems that you think is big for you is really not, you know. Other people are going through other things, and there's so much to learn, you know, if you're a good listener.
That'll
you know?
humble you like earlier on, and that way you don't take things to heart as you move forward. Right. And then you just focus on meeting more people. And adding value.
Yeah. And there's so many like skills to use, you know, like even like there's so many physical techniques to be a better communicator, you know, that I employ just all the time when I'm talking to people. And to me, it wasn't natural a long time ago. Okay. But for me, it is natural to be, you know, physically involved into listening, you know, like when I'm listening, I nod a lot. You know, I noticed that in this podcast a lot where I'm just like nodding. Like, it's just like, oh my God, when is this guy going to stop nodding?
Register some way. I give little, you know, like, like I give little ad libs, you know, like that, to let people know that you are engaged, that I am noting. And like, those are things that I think get lost a lot of times, and people start drifting off in different directions, not being, you know, actually attentive.
Right.
So,
just being like, actually attentive. Like, you know, it's important to be in that present. Be present with people, new people. You know, that eye contact helps, you know, nodding helps, letting them know I'm listening, asking a follow-up question, it helps.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then there's like, you know, scientific research behind it too. Like, you know, all these physical techniques really help the other person feel heard, you know?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you want them to feel heard.
No,
you know?
100%. And then they'll divulge more.
They'll diverge more.
Yeah.
And then there's this like natural human instinct to like tilt your head when you're listening. Like this just happens naturally. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Like when you're talking, I'm just like this.
I do this too. Like I am listening.
Yeah.
You're right.
These
I
are
don't
like
even
physical
these things, though.
Yeah.
You're right. Wow.
These are things like people can employ to like improve their communication skills. Like if they need to improve that, you know, like everybody's got a different struggle.
Yeah, little thing. That's a great tip, though.
Yeah.
It
helps.
Just like your body language.
Yeah, body language. It's so, you know, body language expresses
while
so
listening,
much.
But while listening,
while not speaking anything, they're
this
saying so many things.
This episode's huge, just about on really big on listening. You know, networking has a lot of that involved.
Yeah, so just all listening. Honestly,
it is
listening and adding value. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, like mirroring the other person is a great way to connect with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, mirror them, and like, you know, you will win in job interviews if you mirror the person who's interviewing you.
Personality mirroring.
Yes.
Remember what did Andy did that in the office?
In the office?
Yeah, to a comical extent. But there's some truth to that.
There's a lot of truth
when you so there's like times, and this is a big pet peeve of mine for all of my folks across the land, when you give a handshake and it's a flimsy handshake.
Oh yeah.
The level of disgust that I feel in that moment, not for the person, but maybe just within me, that I grip this limp. It's bad. And like when I'm not greeted with a level of enthusiasm, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Right.
Just go live. Be happy elsewhere.
Great points.
This is weird. Like, and even as a kid, like if an adult like was to shake my hand, good to meet you, Saheer, like, you know, even in school and stuff, like I met that handshake, and like it was like you, and it's not about proving your, I don't know,
manhood,
alpha, whatever the hell that shit is. Like I don't get that, but it's really about reciprocating energy.
Yes.
And being like, you know, personality mirroring in a small way,
right,
where like you will be like, okay, this person's here,
you
know,
and don't be fake, you know, don't be fake, just be mirror, but don't be fake, you know, like just like figure out how you can connect with that person,
improve your handshakes. That's all I'm saying, you know, just you know, it's okay to I guess, you know, practice, like, and like, you know, get better. But I noticed after a while that like the firmer my handshake was, the more somebody realized that I was there.
Yes.
Like, and that they would be like, oh, hello, how you doing? Like that. And you noticeably see them like now you have their attention. And if you really wanted to have that person's attention, a strong handshake is a very like, it's an old but a tried and true proven way, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's a great tip. Yep, give a firm handshake.
Yeah, it's huge, man.
It's huge,
and that's something that really like when you said about personality mirroring, like mirror, that thing just instantly. Like there's just been too many times, and people who maybe I could have benefited from, but because they had a limp handshake, I'm like, do you even want to be here, man?
Right.
Like, do you like? Don't just stick your hand out and expect someone to. Yeah. Anyway,
that's hilarious.
I digress.
No, I like that. That's I'm the same way. I feel that. Yeah, I definitely feel that way.
Like, and we didn't have to have a real relationship when we actually first met and when we shook hands.
Yeah.
For me to be like, okay, like this is a genuine person.
Right.
And so I think like that can go a long way when you're meeting somebody for the first time.
Right.
And you're getting a first impression across.
Exactly. First impressions matter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you know, we're talking about physical handshakes and all that. It works in, you know, face-to-face meetings and all that. But, you know, today's day and age, so much of business happens through DMs and LinkedIn messages and so many things, right?
That's true.
Like,
damn, no, you're right.
That is true, you know.
There's etiquette there.
Yeah, but there's etiquette there, you know, and some of these rules apply over there too, you know. Like,
they do.
If you go into those situations wanting to add value, if you're going into those situations wanting to learn from somebody, you know, listening, active listening, maybe commenting on what they're going through in their social media, you know, like connecting in that kind of manner, you're gonna have those same goals. So you're gonna reach those same goals. So you're gonna connect with people,
and you have to put a genuine foot forward.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go out there like that.
Right.
So like I've done this to success and to like failure, or not failure, but to no end as well. So it's like a 50-50 in my eyes.
Right. Yeah.
That like you have to put yourself out there, and you don't know if this is really gonna resonate or if something's gonna hit. But when it hits, it hits, and sometimes it's like very much worth just putting yourself out there. So I've been on Instagram like many times, like in the past like 5-6 years, just looking for artists to work with, and like I'll either get a response or I won't.
Right.
And in that way, it is very binary. But you have to like forget about like I think you also have to forget about like both in a sense. Not get fixated on oh, this person responded too. No, like you do, like there's still this next step that needs to be taken. Just do good work by them. Be right by do right by them, all of that. But not to get fixated on the good and bad, you know, like letting what is it, like praise and insult go by equally. So that way like you can focus on a greater goal, which is like getting shit accomplished.
Right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Like it's about how can you add value? How can you serve? How can you serve the person on the other side? You know, remember they're humans. They're going through things. How can you serve them? And sometimes people don't reply to DMs and messages. Just try again.
It's part of the journey.
It's part of the journey.
And
try again.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be kind of I don't want to call it pious, but like there is a certain diligence too. Maybe. Yeah, but like a very it's like this is my purpose here, regardless of what this person might say.
Right.
I know there's other people to work with. I know it's just about me putting myself out there.
Right.
So I think that kind of like blissful ignorance, you know, in that way, that this is what I'm here for, you know, and I'm gonna find value. I'm gonna find a place that add value elsewhere, and not to get discouraged a lot. I mean, you know, within all my travels in terms of music, you know, wherever I went, and despite the failures that I have encountered, I never felt discouraged. I thank my stars in that way, because like a lot of folks will tell me that like, man, this song didn't come out the way I wanted. I don't know if this is for me. And it's like, damn, dude, like I didn't care about a mix for the longest time. Like I just wanted a good song, you know, and like and so like there's like moments where I feel like, you know, just don't let like the shortcomings stop you from what you truly love or what you truly or feel passionate about.
Right.
So yeah. Sorry, I again digress. But yeah.
No, that's right. That's true. Yeah. Staying passionate through the no's is so important always, you know?
Especially within networking.
Yeah.
Because that's not a no forever, that's a no for now.
Yeah.
You know, and like you don't know how the stars line up later.
Yeah.
It's important to keep a healthy, positive attitude.
Right.
One that's grateful, and one that is just ruthless about where they're gonna go.
Right. Yeah, you know, that's right. Yeah, I think that's a lot of value, bro. Like this.
I think we added some.
Yeah, I think this podcast, we added a bunch of value. You know, we had so many pointers on how to become a great networker. You know, the main thing being add value, you know, figure out how to serve.
Yeah.
Yep. And figure out how to be remembered through these situations, and you know the rest of it will follow. You know, just be attentive, be present.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and you know, for the audience over there, I want to challenge you guys like to think about where you can improve your networking situations. You know, there's a website called meetup.com. I swear they're not paying me for this, but
should.
Yeah, you could go to Meetup and you know figure out there's networking events for every industry, like pharmacy, like entrepreneurship, small business owners, anything you can think of, music, like artists, musicians, just whatever you're doing in your life, there's a networking event out there for you. So
meetup.com.
Yeah, meetup.com. Or you know, if you're onto Facebook, there's Facebook events and all that. But
sure.
Yeah, just like my question to the audience is like, go figure out what you want to do and join a networking event and let us know if it went well. You know,
right, yeah.
I'd be interested to know if these lessons apply to everyone, you know, because I learned all these lessons through trial and error myself, through having social anxiety and overcoming that.
Yeah.
And, you know, now I'm in a different place, so I'm able to, you know, part this knowledge to people.
Sure.
Now I'm interested to see if you guys can really apply it and it works, you know, like I believe it does.
Real feedback, live ammo, like let us know. You know,
let
like,
us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's
because that's what we do want to, you know, we want to accomplish with this is we want to help. And if we can shave off a year, 5 years from you learning, you know, without having to bump your head so much, like that just makes us feel better. Right. And it makes us feel like we're fulfilling our purpose.
Yes, that is our purpose. Absolutely. To add value. Yep. So let us know. What I want to part with today is, you know, in this world of inauthenticity and so many filters on every single person, I dare you to be authentic, live authentically, live unfiltered, but don't be an asshole. That's the episode. Thank you, Saheer.
My pleasure.